And now, Society Network presents Homegrown After Dark, featuring Grand Smokies. Hey, welcome back to Society's Network, Homegrown After Dark. And this is your host, Mel Highsmith, and I'm honored to have in here today Grand Smokies.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's a great thing. With all of our guests on the show, and they'll tell you about this, I'm just going to start you off. Where did your journey begin that's brought you towards music at this point in your life?
Well, I've always played music, just since I was a little kid. I remember, it's hard to find. We didn't have that many radio stations back in the day before the internet, so a lot of times it's hard to find music. My dad had a bunch of old Jerry Jeff Walker records around the house, so that was a big influence. And a lot of.
Did your dad play guitar or anything like that?
No, nobody in my family played any instruments at all.
So you're the only musician in your family?
The only one in my family, yeah.
That's two this season.
And I had some friends that played.
Okay.
That kind of got me involved, and their parents.
Were they friends in high school?
Friends in high school, yeah.
Which was where'd you go?
In Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill, Texas.
Liberty Hill, Texas, is where I was from.
That's awesome. Hey, I got a question. Was their team a powerhouse back then?
It was. It wasn't the football though. It was actually the basketball teams were really good back in the '90s. They had some really good teams. Okay. Their claim to fame is they were the only high school team ever to beat Shaquille O'Neal in basketball.
Really?
He only lost one game in high school, and it was to Liberty Hill.
Really? Shaquille O'Neal's team played Liberty Hill?
Yeah, it was like a regional final because he went to school in San Antonio.
Okay,
Cole,
that's right.
San Antonio. And so we met him in regionals, and he was a junior
Liberty Hill
that
took
year.
down Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
The Hill Country has all the talent. I've been saying it all along.
It was his junior year. He came back the next year. We played him again his senior year, and he had grown even more. He was even bigger, and we didn't have a chance. He beat us pretty good that year.
Yeah, no, he's a big old boy, 7'2".
Yeah,
300 plus pounds.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
Big guy.
I got all that. Okay, so enough of the Shaquille O'Neal. We'll get back to Grand Smokies. So, anyways, where did you come up with the name Grand Smokies? How'd that come about?
Well, the name is. My granddad used to say a lot. My granddad lived in Lampasas, and he was a cattle rancher, amongst other things. And but the Grand Smokies were there was a secret group of people back, around World War II era and stuff, turn of the century, that were deputized to go search for cattle rustlers.
Oh, okay.
And the cattle thieves. And nobody knew who they were. They were like a clandestine group, and they were called the Grand Smokies.
Right.
And I always thought that was a good name. My granddad used to say something like, "You better act right, or the Grand Smokies will get you," stuff like that.
I'm gonna look
That's
that
where
up.
the name comes from.
Man, that's a good story.
It is.
I'm gonna look that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then
Grand Smokies.
then we smoked too. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay, so no one else in your family is musicians?
No.
No, just you and your friends from school, right? Was it schoolmates or?
Yeah, just old schoolmates, and we just played around.
Did the whole school know that y'all played and stuff like that?
No. Of course, we weren't really very good or anything.
Really? Okay.
Just strumming and picking, but we didn't go around doing shows. Nothing formal.
Not at all?
Just maybe playing around houses and people's houses and things like that.
Before the show, I told you, I was saying I'm a musician. My entire family are musicians. And when we were little kids, we'd go play I'm from grew up in San Antonio. And we'd go play on the street corner if it was just a tub and a spoon. I'm serious, man. We were die hard. Anyways.
Yeah, it's nice to play. It seems kind of weird to call myself a musician because I appreciate the compliment, but I mean, when I think of a musician, I think of the guitar player on this album, Chris Reeves.
Superman himself.
Just very talented, dedicated.
He's amazing. I've had him on another show called the Jam Room Diaries. Back after the great pandemic, right? I couldn't get in the K-Base studio, and I couldn't bring anybody into this studio. But there's one place that I had full 100% control of, and that was my personal jam, which is in a commercial building here in town. And so I went threw up a bunch of gray sheets, put a table in there, a bunch of chairs, took all my equipment, set up, started filming the Jam Room Diaries, and he was my second guest with B.B. Morse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chris Reed's phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And
Yeah.
B.B. Morse, too.
Yeah.
Excellent bass player. And all these guys, I mean, those, when you use the term
Those are musicians.
you're using it pretty loose towards me. Those guys are very, very talented.
Well,
I just put a couple of ditties together, and I try to make it rhyme, and people generally like
but
it.
that makes you a musician just because you're not doing it full time. You know, I've never had the I guess the means to go as a full time musician. I was a father in my young 20s, right, 3 kids, and so I had to dig my knuckles in to make it. But the passion to want to be there never changed.
Oh, yeah.
And just because I didn't make the money, I still believe I'm a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing myself since I was 12.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I remember like my family, they weren't musicians, and rightly so. They didn't really encourage me to play music that much. I mean, they thought, oh, that's cute, but keep your day job, And I agree with them, even then and even now. Like I even saw a bumper sticker one time a guy had on the back of his truck in Austin, and it said, "Real musicians have day jobs," and I think that was a good bumper sticker. I think.
Well, that's the musicians without girlfriends, though.
Yeah.
We got to be clear right there. You know what I mean? If they ain't got a girlfriend, they better get a job.
Yeah, I think I went to college. I was expected to go to college and things like that. Went up to Texas Tech, which was an interesting experience up in Lubbock, and then I got a job, and then I got married, and you just everything gets put on the back burner. And really recently, what's happened is I took over my granddad's farm up in Lampasas. We run sheep and cattle, and it was great job. It was interesting being self-employed for the first time. I had to worry about how I'm going to pay for health insurance, and then, you get older, you get these responsibilities. I'm married. It's hard to
Concentrate on the music.
Other things to do, yeah. And then for the first time, though, I've got this ranch, which doesn't really take the full time. Cows will generally take care of themselves, and it's not really sun up to sundown. And so I got time during the day, and then I drive a school bus too.
I was about to ask about that. How did it end up?
It's good. I enjoy it. It's really a fun job. I was up early anyways. Of course, I have to get up even earlier than the chickens when you drive a bus.
Well, was it something that you had to do that you wanted to become a driver?
No, nothing that I really had.
I just think that's kind of like very brave and noble of you to do that.
Well, I taught school once before,
Okay.
and I taught ag in high school, the FFA and all of that.
Okay.
And so I had gotten my bus driver's license when I was the advisor for the FFA.
FFA, how long ago did you do that?
Gosh, I guess it's been about 10 years. It's been a while.
Oh, okay. Here in Marble Falls?
It was here in Marble Falls?
I bet you knew my daughter, Heather Highsmith.
I don't know.
Bet you did. Yeah.
I had to see a picture.
Yeah, I have to look back. We have
pictures
pictures in our curio cabinet at the house, and I'm going to look back there, and I bet you 10 to 1. Because I know I've seen everybody at least once in life, and I'm like, I think I've seen this man somewhere. It's probably weird, because I went to a ceremony of the passing of one was retiring or graduating, and the next one was being elected in for the head of the class or something like that, right?
Uh-huh.
I can't barely remember it, but yeah, I do.
Huh.
And, but anyways, cool.
Yeah, I was only there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned, though, it's hard to do that, because that takes up more than full-time job. It's like a 60-hour week job with so many events. It's year-round. Summer times you have conferences and trainings. So it'd be almost impossible to run a ranch and do teach ag at the same time. So I just went into full-time ranching, but I had my bus driver's license from driving.
Okay, I was about to ask that.
That's how we got into
special license for it.
And so that's how I got into bus driving. Plus, it pays health insurance, and I'm getting to the age where I have to actually think about that now.
Well, I just still think he's very brave and noble to want to get on a bus with a whole bunch of kids. Is it teenage kids or little kids that you got?
Mainly junior high and some high school.
Oh, my God, man.
Yeah.
I was one of the back
But
of
it's
the
really
bus
not
kids.
bad. Oh, were you?
I was thrown off every single bus I ever got on.
Well, I'm up in Lampasas doing that now.
Oh, okay.
And it's really pretty enjoyable. There was sometimes, the kids up there are really good. It's a good system, and people I work with are real nice. I mean, there was one day I was going in to drop the kids off at school. They were so quiet, especially in the mornings. They're pretty quiet. I almost forgot they were back there. I started to go back to where we parked the buses at, and almost forgot to drop the kids off. So
Yeah, I bet.
almost. I mean, just for like a split second.
I could just imagine it. Oh my God. I got to be honest, I couldn't do it. And I've seen the buses right there. I was like, man, it's just a great part-time gig, and I can't because I'm gonna get in trouble. I just cannot. I grew up in the what I call the inner streets of San Antonio. I grew up in government housing my entire life. For a change, and here I am in my later years living in Marble Falls, Texas, of all things, right?
Yeah.
But it was all planned to be here. And I couldn't do it, so I'm gonna salute you, bus full of teenage boys impressing the girls. Not for me. I couldn't do it, man.
The hardest part really is it's not even waking up in the morning, around 4 or 4:30.
Yeah.
It's the I have to go to bed like 8 o'clock in the evening.
That's me.
So I have no social life. I try to go out and promote the music and play, but it's pretty tough when I fall asleep.
Man, you know what? Here,
8
right
o'clock.
here. This is hopefully. I don't know how you are with your social media and how you've been promoting yourself and with your music, but now that you're in here after this show's over and stuff like that, we'll swap enough information to where you'll be able to follow my footprints as when I put your show out. And it'll show you, well, you need part of this group here. You need to like that page there. You need to like this right here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I could write it all down and send you to it, but most people don't do it. And I've learned this because I've been lucky enough to interview hundreds of people who promote themselves. Mm-hmm. So they all give me the same type of information, and I've like accumulated it. And I'll show you a lot of stuff after the show. You're really going to like it. So, okay. So there we go. So, yeah, you went through the school, Liberty Hill High School, and they kicked Shaquille O'Neal's butt. And it brought you back to us. So in your later years, now you're cattle ranching?
Yeah, cattle ranching. And sheep.
And sheep.
Those two.
Okay.
Mixed grazing.
Mixed grazing. And he's a brave and noble soul. Drives a bus for teenage kids, dear God.
But it's really been good. Between shifts, I have time to work out some of these ditties and songs.
Yeah.
A lot of times, most of these songs were recorded in the studio. And I guess now would be a good time to mention that. It was at DUP Studios.
Patrick Devaney.
DUP, DUP Studios in Burnett, Texas, with Patrick Devaney.
They're very easy to find. You went out there. Well, it's very easy to find this place. Just go to the jail in Burnett, hang a left. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it is over there.
Yeah, just hang left straight up from the jail. It takes you right up there.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like? Did they treat you like...
It was my first time in a studio.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. I had played out at the Bend because I was living in Lampasas now. Yeah. Got a little time in between shifts, things like that. So I went to the Bend one day just for a little open mic. Ran into one of the musicians that also knew Patrick there here in Burnett.
Okay.
And he gave me his card. Told me to call him.
What was that musician's name?
Oh, goodness gracious! No, I just drew a blank. I should have.
Okay,
I've only met him like a couple of times. It's been years, couple of years now.
Okay, cool.
I can't remember who it was, but he gave me Patrick's card. Said you need to call him. He's kind of like you kind of have the sound he's kind of looking for. And so I said, oh, definitely. So I called him up. I went to go visit him at the studio. Really didn't know what to expect, and he kind of guided me through the whole system. We started just kind of doing song after song and just working on it.
You did this whole CD.
Yeah, they're all original songs, all written by myself.
Okay,
Grand Smoky.
the Grand Smoky. You know what I mean? I love the name, Grand Smoky. You know what I mean? There you go. So let me tell you, Grand Smoky, what would be the first song you'd like everybody to have their ears feast on?
I would probably go with Sweet Tequila Blues. It's the first song on the record, and I think it exemplifies kind of our style. It's and one interesting thing about it, it's a typical, I guess country song you'd say. It's got a good rhythm, good beat, but when the drums come in, about a third of the way through the song, the drums will kick in, and he plays the congos. And you just don't. That's
you don't
Patrick.
expect it. That is Patrick.
That's something you wouldn't expect.
You know what I mean?
Makes it different.
He's put out a lot of videos and just sitting out there just playing on them.
Yeah, he's a really good congo player.
Yeah,
and you don't hear congos on country
what was
albums that much.
What was
that one was called Sweet Tequila Blues.
Oh, right.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, he was Grand Smokies, Sweet Tequila Blues.
Up this morning, lying in bed, alarm clock ringing, 10:30, 10:30, 10:30. I got those sweet tequila blues once again. Heading into Austin, gonna hit it big. I'm gonna buy me a Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz. I'm gonna take this old truck, I'm gonna trade it in. Here we go. I've been to Paris, been around the world. Now I'm in Lampasas, and I ain't got no girl, ain't got no girl. Ain't got no girl. But that road keeps calling me back to her. Riding down the highway 281, cave that on the airwaves, and I'm having lots of fun, lots of fun. Lots of fun. I feel those sweet tequila blues coming on. Got a good girl, she's long and tall. She's got legs just like a martial ball, like a martial ball. Martial ball. I feel those sweet tequila blues coming on. Feel those sweet tequila blues coming on.
All right, and we're back. And we got Grand Smokies song, Sweet Tequila Blues. So tell me a little bit about that tune and how you came up with that.
Oh, gosh. I just wanted something with a good, steady rhythm. There was a guy in Lampasas that I've been kind of following and watching, a friend of mine named Matt Janicek. Mr. J, a lot of times people call him, so I hope I didn't destroy his last name.
We're friends.
You know him?
Matthew Janicek.
Oh, yeah.
We're friends on Facebook.
Small world.
Yeah.
He seems to know everybody in town.
It's weird. Dude doesn't get to know a lot of people.
And I saw a couple of shows that he would do in open mics, and he always had like a really good driving bass. And, you know, call me old-fashioned, but I always liked a good driving bass in a song.
It is. It controls the whole movement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he kind of inspired that. And,
okay.
And then it was also kind of inspired by Lucinda Williams, kind of some of her work.
Okay.
And then it mentions a lot of names around Austin, 281, the road here. I think I mentioned Lampasas in the song.
So it was just inspired by your things you saw in life, right?
It was, and then this whole album, it's called Home. You know,
Okay.
So I really wrote all these songs for people in this area, in the Hill Country area. I mean, it's, you know, I did, you know, just recently in the past couple of years, Jerry Jeff Walker died, Billy Joe Schaefer died, John Prine died. I mean, recently,
we've lost a lot of legends.
Christopherson's recently passed away.
Yeah.
All of these people, and I'm just like, you know, I don't know. Now that they're gone, I feel like somebody's got to do it. So I really wrote them kind of with people in the Hill Country in mind. I mean, we'll do one song here in a little bit called Back to Burn It.
Yeah.
As far as I know, nobody's done a song about Burn It, really. And I could honestly say I think this will be the best song about Burn It ever.
I agree. I love Burn It County. I love it. It's been good to me. You know, Marble Falls Burn It's been very good to me. So it's about time that somebody wrote that.
Yeah.
Wrote something about Burn It. You hear that? So I always say out there in Society Network land, which is my distributor for my show, right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, okay. So you wrote this from meeting Matt Janicek.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know I said
and
Matthew,
he influenced me on that first this first song, "Sweet Tequila
Perfect.
Blues." Really influenced me.
Oh, okay. So have you been out playing and promoting these songs at all? Any
I have,
places?
yeah. Mainly up in Lampasas, just some open mics.
Okay.
And I've been playing out at the Bend, out in the Bend, Texas, which is kind of, I guess it's technically in San Saba County, just right across the river. There's this new,
Yeah.
I don't know, are you familiar with the Bend General Store?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Okay,
I am.
it's a great place, great vibe. We go out there, especially like on the weekends, and there'll be your local rednecks, and then you have these people that come for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Park there.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have an Austin crowd and the San Saba crowd and the Lampasas. And you have rural people and city people, and it's just a really good vibe.
Yeah, the Bend General Store, I've been there once in my life. I haven't been there but that one time. But because I'm an admin on a whole mess load of music sites, for venues and fans and artists and stuff like that, and probably chances are it's 7 out of 10 chances any music sites that you're already on are probably mine to begin with. Right? I started a journey years ago, and so when you said the Ben General Store, so I'm like, yeah, I know the Ben General Store.
Yeah.
They do a lot of posting in my stuff. I see it all the time.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
so it's really cool, and you'll get access to all that. Right? So we're gonna open your eyes
Yeah.
like, boom. You'll be like, oh my God, is this really out there? So okay, so you've done a couple open mics. I think open mics are great, right?
oh yeah.
For a
Great way to meet people, and great way for other musicians to meet other musicians.
Yeah,
Like if you need a ukulele player, just maybe one will show up to the open mic one night, and then you can get their number and you can call them up and collaborate.
Okay, I'll tell you where a couple of other ones are. Charlie Sardo's open mic at the Brass Hall downtown Marble Falls. Tuesday nights at 9.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
It's past my bedtime, and he's
Yeah.
like, "No, come to my open mic." I'm like, "Man, dude, I'm in bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock every night."
Yeah.
And then Wednesday nights up at Pootie's Roadhouse.
Oh,
You know, Chris Reeves, B.B. Morse. B.B. Morse started doing that 37 years ago, hosting that. I just had him on the show a couple of episodes back.
okay.
So
That's a good one.
Those are two really good open mics. And if I forgot anyone, there's another one started up in my local area. Please forgive me. Remind me and tag me on it.
There's one out in Llano at the Falls.
Okay,
I've been hearing good things about.
That's right. Chrissy Taylor, one of my other guests, played. There you go, man.
Yeah, a couple guys from Lampasas kind of host that one. Joel Allen and Dawson Holland.
Yep.
Two very young, up and coming, and very good musicians too. Once again,
There is a lot of talent out there.
I've been really surprised. You know, little town called Lampasas. I just moved out there, I guess right before COVID, so about 5-6 years ago, and then COVID hit, so it kind of put a damper on the social life and meeting people for a few years. And then now I've just gotten into this music scene. I've been just absolutely blown away at people from Lampasas.
You will, man.
I would have never thought.
When I first I moved up here, this would be 20 years this year. But anyways, you know, when I first moved up here 20 years ago, man, I just thought, you know, me, my sons, my brothers, you know, we're all musicians. We are it. And then I come on the scene here, I'm like, oh, God bless it, look at what's around me. I had John Arthur and B.B. Morse and Chris Reeves. Chris Reeves has been playing since he was in the womb.
Yeah,
He has.
I believe it.
I
Yeah.
bet his mother could feel a guitar sticking out of her side of her stomach,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and playing the guitar in there. But and it blew my mind. And that's what all inspired to where I'm sitting in here today, talking to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One day,
It's-
yeah. But go ahead.
I just like I say, been blown away by all the talent in this area,
Yeah.
and very supportive too. Not of just everybody's polite and just cordial and encouraging.
And it behooves them to be that way.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, because the nicer I am to you, brother, is the more you're going to say my name out to people, which promotes my brand.
Oh, that's true. I try not to name drop, you know, be that way, but it comes up in conversation, yeah, especially when you're talking about music.
I'll be honest with you. I talk about John Arthur all the John Arthur Martinez. He's one of my
I've never
friends.
met him.
You
I've
never met
been
him?
wanting to.
No, he's a great character.
Yeah, I heard he used to coach tennis in Marble Falls and stuff.
He did. He did. You know, and he'll like this one if he's watching the show. It's like, hey, John, that's JohnArthurMartinez.net. He used to be a tennis player, so he has the .net. And
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
I forgot his. You know,
But yeah, hopefully our paths will cross soon. Well, like I was saying, I've been driving the bus, and today's Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is out in podcast land now when
Yeah.
you're watching this, but this is the first official day of summer. So I'm hoping to get out more and catch these shows and go to these open mics like you're talking about and meet some more
Yeah,
musicians.
it is. It's one of the best things to do. You know, but I always tell everyone, open mics are great, but it's also because the bars need to make money.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
another way of pulling in a crowd. So I'm sure you're not a drinker or smoker or anything like that. So
Who? Me?
yeah.
I don't smoke.
Okay,
well,
well,
not
there you go.
cigarettes.
Okay,
I abhor cigarettes. Really,
Yeah,
the vape.
there you go.
But I do drink though. I
Okay.
enjoy a good drink.
There you go. So you fit in all those venues right there.
Oh yeah.
But I think between the two, if you ask me, say between Charlie's and BB's up there, because I haven't been to the ones out there at the falls. I pass by the falls all the time. One's early and one's late, but it's about the same amount. BB has more, what can I say, more Austin crowd that come out.
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's famous out there too, Pootie's.
Oh, it is, man. I played there a couple of times. So that's what you want to do. If you ever want to get on there, you got to start going with that open mic.
Yeah.
Make sure it's every other Wednesday. I don't know which one it is for BB this Wednesday, but yeah, you want to go out there. And then you got Steve Bigler on the blues night. So if you're into blues,
I like it.
yeah, there you go.
I can't really play it.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
cool.
it.
I can't, I get stuck playing on the bass all the time. And I'd rather
Yeah.
play country. It's my favorite thing to do is play country music.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so cool, man. We get talking about all the venues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ben General Store and the Falls out there in Atlanta, and that would be the Brass Hall for Charlie Sardo's. Open mic, which you should go to. That's actually about tonight, by the way. Or no, today's Monday. In y'all's time, it's Wednesday. By the time they actually
By the
see
time
the
they get
show,
it.
it's going to be
Right.
Wednesday night. And we like, Grand Smoky lied to us. He said it was Monday, and I'm looking at my computer, and it says it's Wednesday. So, our Mondays, y'all's Wednesdays. So that'd be awesome. And then I got to launch out a little bit of commercial for somebody right now.
Sure.
Okay. So if you ever come into Marble Falls, Texas, stop in to Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry. And, whether you need to buy that gift for that special someone in your life, or you're falling on a little bit of hard times, a little bit of money, come on down to Lakeside Pawn and Jewelry. And that's 210, bless it, 830-693-5626. All right. You know how many times I have said the store's phone number, and I tell everybody we're in a green room, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's green.
It's green behind us.
It's green in here. It's not what they're seeing. It's not what they're seeing,
Yeah.
But
Do you know what you're going to put up behind us?
It'll
Beach.
no. My main screen I put back there. It's a black screen with a searchlight that sits off center of us right here. Yeah, and it'll come down, and it's the Society Network across it. Right, it goes featuring, and then right above your head, right here, right. It just depends on how much room. Sometimes white hats jack with the rendering.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But if that don't work, what I do is I just Photoshop in a Davy Crockett hat. I'm just messing with him. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'd have that, and then I'm gonna go in and raid your social media, look for the best picture that you have in there, and that'll pop in a couple times.
Okay.
And while I'm thinking about that, I need to do something. Hold on, man.
Sure.
I have an awesome sponsor, and I want to make sure. I want to make sure I said 100% correct.
You'd hate to forget.
I get it. Well, they know me pretty well. So, all right. So there's nothing. If you want to have a great time here in Marble Falls, and you want to meet one of the most spontaneous, happy business owners there is in all this wide world, is go down to Miss Lollipop's Parties, Fun, and Gifts at 208 Main Street, Marble Falls, Texas. And that phone number is 830-201-4419. So for the last couple of shows, shame on Mel, I got that wrong the last 2 episodes. Fumbling my words. Try to be cool. Just trying to make sense of that. So got to make sure my voice has enough deepness in it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that sounds good. That's a good singing voice there. I wish I had that.
Well, here's the wild thing. My normal voice is right here. This is my normal voice, but then I have what you call the K-Bay 103.9 FM Homegrown Hour. And back on the K-Bay shows, before I started all this, right, in 2020, I was a host of the K-Bay Homegrown Hour on broadcast radio here in town. And so when I got in there, I had John Arthur for my very first guest.
Oh,
and so
yeah, no pressure.
Out. I was like, I don't want my voice to sound too high. So this ready, 3, 2, 1. And I froze completely. And then I snapped out of it, you know what I mean? And I ended up saying, welcome back to the K-Bay 103.9 FM Homegrown out in my radio voice. And anyway, I flubbed it all up. That's how I came up to that deeper, joking voice.
Yeah, I wish my voice was deeper. I always want to sound like Jerry Jeff Walker. We were talking about him being an influence.
Yeah.
But I just, unfortunately, he's got a great voice. My voice, I do the best I can. I'm not trained. I didn't go to the Juilliard for voice lessons. In fact, I don't even really, I do the best I can, but a lot of these songs, when I first got into them, I really considered myself, as far as singer-songwriter, probably more of a songwriter than a singer and a performer. Performing doesn't come naturally to me. I've never really felt at home or comfortable in the spotlight. I certainly don't look for it, which may be good or bad, I don't know. But I sing the best I can, but most of these songs I have in mind, I hope people like them and will want to do them and spread the songs. That's what it's all about.
Here's the thing. Music touches a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. Somebody might be listening, to Sweet Tequila Blues and get this meaning out of it, to where another person listens to it and gets this meaning.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works.
Dude, it's a trip. I write songs, I have this one called Take Me Home, where I was at a low point in my life, so I wrote it because I really felt like I was a loser. So I actually wrote it with me staring in the mirror, get all my lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm beating the hell out of heck out of myself.
I think that's the hardest thing to do. You have to drop the ego.
Yeah,
and that's
so
hard.
I'm beating myself up, and then I put it out on social media, and everybody related to it. It had nothing to do with what I meant the song to be. I was like, okay, well, I guess it could mean that. You know what I mean? Changed my writing forever.
Yeah,
it really did.
I think that's the key. You got to say it without saying it, and then you leave it open to where you can have different interpretations. Where it means one thing to one person, another to other. I think that's a sign of good writing.
Okay, Mr. Grand Smoky.
Yeah.
What's wow. His real name is Rumpelstiltskin.
Or just Smokey,
Yeah,
just Smokey.
Smokey. Well, when I say that, it makes me think of Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so.
And when I was a kid, I'm blonde. I'm darker now. I used to be like cotton top blonde. So some people call me Casper. I didn't like that. But some people call me Smokey because my eyebrows are were always real white.
Well, there you go, man.
So it's kind of a Smokey.
Man, I actually have the same thing, man. I like angel flying hair. I mean, so there you go. That's what I got left of mine. I just keep the old military crop top going. I can't deal with it anymore, man. It's run away from my face. I think it's never coming back, except to the back.
Yeah, that's where my hairline's in a race with my gum line. It seems, but I'm not sure which one's winning.
Dear Lord,
I'm just glad to have it.
It all works. Okay, man. What's the next song you're gonna play for us?
I think the next song, the most apropos, would be called "Down and Burn It."
Down and Burn It.
I wrote this song while I was driving the bus. Actually, it was one of the first times I met Chris Reeves. I'd heard about him and I'd seen him playing just out by himself, doing his one-man show, which is very impressive. And somehow, then ran into him at Walmart. He probably thought I was crazy. I'm like, Chris, I'm going to call you. What's your number and all this? He gave it to me. I don't know what he thought. He probably thought I was crazy. And then about a week or two later, I called him up. We got together. I went over to his place because I want to see what he could do. And boy, that was.
And he blew your mind.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I've played with a lot of really good guitar players, lead guitar players in my time.
In a league of his own.
Yeah, just beyond what you can learn. It's just a natural born, God-given talent that I think that he has, where he's able to complement anybody he's playing with. He doesn't ever take over. He just compliments it. Always makes it better.
I told you he's been doing that since he was in the womb.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know what I mean?
So we played a little bit, and I just went around a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We did some jazz tunes, did some real hardcore country, like classic country, and a couple of originals, and no problem at all. So once you play with a guitarist for a while or a musician, you kind of know what he likes and doesn't like, where his strengths are. So I tried to do this song to showcase his strengths with his guitar playing. And I was on the bus and I just kind of had a little melody. It's just in the key of E, kind of standard blues. I really don't do blues because it's not my style, but it's kind of a blues thing. They put a little jazz, a little 2/5 turnaround, like something Freddie Powers would have done.
Freddie Powers.
Put a little jazz into that blues. And then it has a lot of instrumentals in there. Like the song, I think it's like 5 minutes long. Hope that doesn't. But we didn't really make it for the radio. We kind of made it for musicians.
All right.
To show the way we would play it live.
Down to Burn It, correct?
Down and Burn It.
All right. Grand Smoky, Down and Burn It.
There's a place I'd like to go over by the Highland Lakes. They got a lot of real good folks with a strange look on their face. Down and burn it. That's the way it's done. Down and burn it. That's where I'm from. coming down county line, cut that engine loose. You can hear it moan, hear it whine, like a city slicker with the blues. Down in Vernon, that's the way it's done. Down in Vernon, that's where I'm from. Here come Bubba, got a brand new boat, outboard Evan Root. Made his money on emu craze back in '92. Down in Vernon, that's the way it's done. Down in Vernon, that's where I'm from. Town, I got caught running from the county law. Found her down at the party bar, and she was having quite a ball. Down in Vernon, that's the way it's done. Down in Vernon, that's where I'm from. Oh, Ford trucks, pearl snap shirts, all on that granite rock. I sure do like them redneck girls with hoochie coochie walk. Down in Vernon, that's the way it's done. Down in Vernon, that's where I'm from. Swing sitting in the cedar tree, singing a country song. Chris Reeves picking on redwood, Telly playing on and on, on and on, on and on. Down in Vernon, that's the way it's done. Down in Vernon, that's where I'm from.
All right, and we're back with the Grand Smokies, and that's an awesome tune, Down and Burn It. You know, I know you explained a little bit about it, and, you know, how you kind of wrote it and beefed some areas with Chris Reeves' amazing talent. Did you have any other musicians that came in? Because I mentioned you bring steel and stuff like that. Did you bring anybody else into the studio, or is it just you, Patrick Devaney, and Chris Reeves?
It was mainly just us three.
Okay.
And Patrick plays the drums and percussion on every song. Okay. Chris Reeves, of course, does the lead guitar. And one thing I didn't know is he even plays the fiddle.
Yeah, he does.
I think he was pretty modest about it. Says he wasn't that good, but, you know, I said, bring your fiddle, we'll see what happens. And he was really good at fiddle. I mean, he's he's unbelievable on the guitar, but he's pretty good on the fiddle too.
Well, you ought to see the fiddle players he plays with. He'd be like, that's why he said that, because he plays with some Jack Gaskin, Kurt Ballmer. Those are the two ones I know the most. But yeah, so both those guys are
I've been
awesome.
I've been looking for a good fiddle player,
Yeah.
and they're hard to find. And if you do find them, they're like Kurt Ballmer and stuff. They're really busy.
They're busy,
and I don't have like a great reputation. This is my first CD, so sometimes, you know, it's hard. you know, it's kind of a catch-22. It's hard to make a CD until you have a CD because nobody's heard your music yet, and they
Right.
don't know what to think. And there's a lot of crazies I have learned in the music business.
Well, I mean, well, you know,
Hope I'm not one of them.
people cut their first CDs, EPs, whatever they are, their singles, with the great expectation that they think they're going to get famous, right?
Yeah,
And here's the
it's
thing,
probably not a good way to approach it, really.
And I look at CDs like this, or just like DVDs. How many DVDs do you have that are sitting in a box? And that's usually what happens to everybody. And everybody comes out, they get their I guess they're heartbroken that they, it's like, man, that was such a great song. We put everything into it, and it's not getting any airtime. It ain't found.
That's tough, especially if it's an emotional song that means a lot to you.
It is.
It's tough. I try to stay away from "I Lost My Girlfriend" type songs.
Yeah,
And
that's a rarity.
And I always try to. It is because it's a tough one. It could be a bit of a one-way trap. And I don't ever write songs that would put anybody down.
Yeah.
And I don't like to and I'll never do a song that'll be like kids today. This is the way it used to be in my time, and now it's like this. And it used to be here, and now it's like that. They've been doing that for like 100 years. It's I don't want to ever go in that direction either.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I think everybody starts off not wanting to be like anybody else. But remember that I was telling earlier, we were talking about the open mic things. Mm-hmm. You ever hear what picking circles? You get people go out to somebody's
like
house,
guitar pull-ins and stuff.
You can always tell people who play in the same picker circle because they all start sounding the same. And that's the same thing. We all fight against it, but because of our peers around us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I think if you really want to be good, I think one interesting thing as far as writing and stuff is just going and traveling and going to different places.
Yeah.
And it really does help you, not just you learn things the place you're at, but it really helps you to see things where you've been. Like the famous T.S. Eliot quote, we'll never end in our journeys because at the end of all our travels will be to arrive where we first started and know the place for the first time. And there's a lot of truth to that. And then really, this album has a lot to do with that too, because I was gone from this area after high school. I was encouraged to leave. You had three choices: military, job, or college. So I left, and for all the reasons that young men leave. And at the time, there wasn't much to do around here unless you drove a truck and hauled rock or dug septic tanks.
Right.
And so that was about all there was. I think teaching school was about the only job around that required a college degree.
So yeah,
And there wasn't a lot for
how
us,
did you
so-
end up becoming a teacher? That's what you.
Both my parents are teachers.
Dig it.
Yeah. So that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And my grandmother's was a teacher, so I come from a long line of teachers.
You want to hear something, Mom? Right?
Yeah.
I work in Lampasas. He lives in Lampasas. You know what I mean? I live there off 1174. It's out by Smithwick.
Uh-huh.
And there's another thing. I was a vocational teacher for many, many years for secondary education. You know what I mean? Trade school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one now.
It is. We need more people blue collar, period. You know what I mean? More people blue collar. I'm just the way I believe it. I think big college is a bunch of malarkey.
Well, I would never say if you learn a knowledge, whether it's speaking Spanish or Zimbabwean, I don't think knowledge is ever a bad thing.
No.
But sometimes it doesn't pay. You just have to be prepared for that.
Especially when you're a parent. Straight up, man. Straight up. All right, so man, we got the old Smoky. Let's see if it's going to blur out the green screen. In mind, here we go. Get that up there for you. There we go. Straight. There we go. Got it, people. Normally, when I stick stuff up to the camera, when you watch the show on y'all's Wednesday, this is our Monday. Right? Mm-hmm. Having fun with that. When I take something as a white background and stick towards the camera with the lights, what it does is you actually, for a split second, get to see us in the green room, and I do it on purpose.
Oh,
so everybody gets kind
interesting.
of like taking away the curtain of Oz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take away the smoke and mirrors.
All right. So let's talk about this. If anybody wanted to find you, they listen to your music. They're like, we love the Grand Smokies. Mm-hmm. I think it's just up to me. Christian Cole, the Grand Smokies. That's a good name.
Yeah.
It is. It catches real good, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so if anybody wanted to get on social media right now,
And I have a website. It's just the Grand Smokies, all one word.
Okay.
The Grand Smokies .com.
.com.
I see the website there, and you can find the music and download it.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook, YouTube, a Rumble, or anything like that?
It's on. If you type in the Grand Smokies, or maybe singular,
Okay.
just the Grand Smoky, you can find it on YouTube,
Okay. YouTube.
Spotify,
Okay.
I think Apple Music, all those major music venues.
Okay.
Yep,
Cool.
just type in the name.
Awesome. So you must despise Facebook or something like that.
I haven't made a Facebook page for it yet.
Okay.
I should though. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to make some videos for some of the more popular songs.
Make your page, and then make a group for that page, and then make the group private. You're gonna get all the sickos around the world.
Oh really?
Yeah, I have a lot of groups.
I'm not a very good at technological stuff. You know?
Okay, so
it's a learning experience for me
it's cool.
doing this computer stuff. But that's something to think about.
Yeah, you want yourself a page. Okay, everybody hates Facebook. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Do they?
A lot of people use social media for evil, intentional purposes, but for people like me, I actually use it for business and commerce, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I have 32 landing pages, right? And then I have 109 groups to back up all my landing. That's not my .coms and all my other stuff, right?
That's pretty busy. It's hard to keep track of all that.
It
take you a while just to check your mail.
Every day, I have a routine that's memorized, man. Every day, or 4 days a week, I get to my jam room, open up the laptop, and I know, okay, on this day, I have this, everything's set up for me. I know I have to make sure I push these groups with these pages, right? Mm-hmm. So, but you'll figure out once you learn and get the system down. All these other artists, like Chris and all them, they all have their same landing pages. I just have more.
That's kind of how I follow most of them. Is I follow them on their Facebook pages.
See
what they're going to be doing, where they're at.
Yeah. So that's your Facebook. Is Grand Smoky on Facebook or
thegrandsmokies.com.
No.
But yeah, when I do the Facebook page, it'll be the Grand Smokies.
Okay, that's what you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but that's all we got for now. We stretched this one all the way out, and it's not going to have to be edited. But here we go with the Grand Smokies. Appreciate you coming in, brother.
Thank you.
There we go.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Some great music, and remember, check us out Wednesday nights at 9 on KB 103.9 FM. Texas Best Country. You'll love the show, Homegrown After Dark. That's Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., 103.9 FM. And you can also find us out on iHeartRadio at Homegrown After Dark, Spreaker Homegrown After Dark, YouTube Society Network, and Facebook Homegrown After Dark. And, of course, me, Mel Highsmith, and until next week.